fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism. What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation. Well, isn't this the liberal philosophy?
President Ronald Wilson Reagan, the great, great American president. Man that opened so many millions and millions of eyes decades ago, including my own. Who are the fascists? Well, maybe the guys firebombing the Jewish governor's house, firebombing the pro-Israel marchers in Colorado, terrorizing Jewish students on college campuses, exterminating 40% of the black population in the womb, carjacking people by the thousands, fighting in favor of more crime and against anyone that would fight for less crime. You see, they've got Kilmar Abrego Garcia. They're trying to have him released from custody today. You know, the MS-13 Salvadoran wife beating, baby mama beating, human trafficking, human smuggler that the Democrats, I think, want to run for Congress, don't they? I mean, they love these, like Luigi Mangione shoots a man in the back and kills him on the sidewalks of New York, and the Democrat Party makes him into a hero. They made a hero in Washington, D.C. out of the guy that threw the Subway sandwich. Subway keeps getting free promos from this. The Subway sandwich is like, Chicago, Juicy Smollett going out for a Subway sandwich at 3 o'clock in the morning. Sure he was. And they lie about everything. And the sandwich throwing guy who threw a sandwich at a federal police officer in uniform from 1 foot away from, then ran away in his flip-flops and his pink Izod shirt with the polo shirt with the collar turned up. These are the heroes of the Democrat Party. They got posters of him around D.C. now because they love crime. They're anti-police. They're pro-violence. They're the left. They're not liberals. And they love Kilmar Abrego Garcia. CNN is very excited. Could be released from criminal custody Friday. Why? He's anybody aware of this? Remember what John Kennedy said, Senator John Kennedy said, illegal immigration is illegal, he said cleverly. See, he knows. But CNN's very excited that Abrego Garcia, they call him Kilmar for short, could be released from custody today, Friday, and CNN couldn't be more excited about it. They got the glowing pictures, not a picture of his terrified wife, afraid that MS-13 is going to come and pummel her if she says anything bad about him. And he has pummeled her himself repeatedly, at least 2 restraining orders, 2 separate incidents. And CNN's excited. Kilmar Abrego Garcia could be released from criminal custody as soon as Friday. That's today. The latest developments in a dramatic legal saga. It's a dramatic legal saga. He's an illegal alien gang member beating his baby mama, then marrying her in prison while he's in prison. She had to go to prison to marry him, but then they let her go. And the Democrats, they love wife-beating illegal alien and baby mama. Before they were married, he was beating her then, first restraining order then. They love it. And CNN says, surrounding the wrongly deported Maryland father of 3 little bastards, and the unbelievable stuff. Abrego Garcia has for months been behind bars in Tennessee since he was returned to the United States from El Salvador. The Democrats were fighting to get him returned and freed on the streets so that he could commit more crimes and engage in more human trafficking and, beat the baby mama. And then returned from El Salvador, where he was unlawfully deported in March. Now they have 2 sentences here, and in both sentences, surrounding the wrongly deported Maryland father of 3. Then the next sentence, returned to the U.S. from El Salvador, where he was unlawfully deported in March, to face human smuggling charges. No big deal, just human trafficking, slavery in the 21st century. The Democrats are the party of slavery and the bullwhip and the plantation, and you know how they are. 2 federal judges in Nashville have turned down a request from federal prosecutors for him to remain locked up while he awaits trial on the charges. Just human trafficking. Never mind that. And I guess the restraining order is still in place if he comes back to Maryland. Can he go near his baby mama? Or are they still afraid that he's going to beat her again? But one of the judges, paused. Listen, her release order last month for 30 days. That pause is expected to expire on Friday. The Democrats are really hoping to have him loose on the streets, the illegal alien gang member. His deportation earlier this year, they can't get away from this, and the administration's protracted battle against judges who demanded officials work to bring him back to the U.S. became a flashpoint in the White House's controversial effort to carry out an unprecedented deportation campaign, not true, as well as its continued battle with the federal judiciary. You mean Obama and Biden judges who are freeing every gang member, every illegal alien to be loose on the streets of the United States so we can have more crime. But that's your Democrat Party, and they're really hoping that Kilmore Abrego Garcia will be loose again, and then I guess they'll get a private jet for him to come back to Maryland, because you may remember they call him a Maryland man. And Chris Van Hollen, the Democrat senator from Maryland, going down to El Salvador to have a margarita with him in prison, and they were touching and pawing each other. I think it was kind of creepy, but that's your Democrat Party. Aren't they something? Yes, they are. Man, oh man, a Shevitz. The Democrats are trying very hard in California to have the parent-killing Menendez brothers released from prison on parole. And yesterday, one of the brothers, the first brother to go before the parole board, was denied parole. And Democrats are angry. They might have to riot. They might have to firebomb Jewish homes or something, which they are in the habit of doing. California, Fox News Channel, California denies Eric Menendez parole. It's Eric with a K. It should be Eric KKK, shouldn't it? Eric Menendez parole as DA slams self-defense claims. Brother Lyle faces separate hearing. California board denied the release of Eric Menendez, and, they did approve the release from prison, this is true, of Sirhan Sirhan, who in 1968 shot and killed Bobby Kennedy, then a U.S. Senator running for president, killed him, the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, California. Never mind that. Eric Menendez, one of the two brothers convicted in the 1989 shotgun slaying of their parents in Beverly Hills, was denied parole by a California review board on Thursday in his first appearance before the board. The board will now consider whether his brother Lyle should be set free in his own parole hearing on Friday. That's today. Lyle is set to appear before the parole board by way of video teleconference from Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego. That's German, San Diego, German, at 8:30 a.m. local time. So that is in about 15 minutes, 17 minutes here that it'll begin. His case will likely be heard by different commissioners than the commissioners who heard his brother's case. That's grounds for appeal right there, I suspect. Isn't that amazing? The California Board of Parole hearings denial of parole for Eric Menendez marks a significant development in the decades-long case that drew international attention, with the brothers' televised trial becoming one of the most infamous of the 1990s. Eric Menendez, now 54 years old, has spent more than 30 years behind bars, He did, use a shotgun with his brother to murder their father, and then Mom, hey, there's Mom, let's not forget her, let's kill her with 12-gauge shotguns too. Not a happy story by any stretch, but the Democrat Party, they think those guys should really be free, shouldn't they? Let's free the Menendez brothers. They killed their parents. Just wonderful stuff. Wah, wah, wah. So we got that going. Now, the family of the Menendez brothers, they have family members that they didn't kill with 12-gauge shotguns way back then. And then they claimed much later, our dad was mean to us sexually or something. And everybody that knew them said, that doesn't make any sense at all. But never mind that. They came up with that much later. So the family of the Menendez brothers, they say, while we respect the decision, today's outcome was, of course, disappointing, and not what we had hoped for. We will continue to stand by him and hold to the hope that he is able to return home soon. And it's nice that family are sticking up for him. That's kind of nice, right? The Los Angeles County District Attorney is a guy named Nathan Huckman. Nathan Huckman said, the board correctly determined that Eric Menendez's actions speak louder than words. And that is his conduct in prison. Apparently he's a less than ideal inmate, a less than model inmate in prison where he's been for decades now. His actions speak louder than words, and that his conduct in prison and current mentality demonstrates that he still poses an unreasonable risk of danger to the community. That's what Nathan Huckman, the Los Angeles County District Attorney, had to say, right? Then Eric Menendez said, step by step, my mom had shown she was united with my dad. Well, they were married and the parents of children living in Beverly Hills, and everything was fine as far as everybody could tell around them. Step by step, and it's like slowly I turn. Step by step, my mom had shown she was united with my dad, and he's the one that they vilified, right? On that night, I saw them as one person. Had she not been in the room, maybe it would have been different. I wish to God I did not do that. He wishes to God that he did not do that. Isn't that great? And the parole commissioner said, the manner and the motive for the killings do have some weight in aggravation. The killing of your mother especially showed a lack of empathy and reason. Sure, we got that going for us. So there, and I'm guessing since one, but now it's a different parole board, that is a different group of people that are going to be sitting in judgment. And again, Sirhan had been granted parole by a parole board in California. And so he was supposed to have been released, according to the parole board. But Governor Newsom, who calls himself what? GCN. Right. And pretty amazing stuff for Sirhan. Yeah. And the headline from back then, this is 2022. Governor Newsom grants executive clemency, reverses parole decision for Sirhan, because the parole board had said let him go, and you need the governor's signature. He hasn't given it yet. All right, let's take a phone call, Michael. Let's go to Mike calling from beautiful Southern Maryland. Michael, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, Chris, long time, no talk. I think we're going about these boys in the girls' locker room wrong. I think what should happen is the minute he drops his drawers, all the girls should get together, call the police, have him arrested for exposing himself. The police will come. He'll say, I'm a girl. They'll say, not with that, you're not. They'll arrest him and bring the parents in and say, we're going to put him on a stet, which means if he's a good boy for the next 6 months, everything goes away. But if he commits another crime, especially exposing himself, we're going to arrest him. We're going to charge him. He's going to have a criminal record as a sex offender for the rest of his dumb life. And maybe you ought to take your child, and not literally, but maybe you ought to straighten your child out. Have a nice day.
Yeah, well, I tell you, in Virginia right now, they've got the Loudoun County schools, where the schools have suspended a boy, in fact, 2 boys, when a young woman came into the boys' locker room at the high school saying, I'm a boy, but really she's a girl. And she was making video of the naked boys in the locker room, and when the boys objected, and it's illegal, by the way, for you to go in and make videos in a locker room at a high school and where everybody's naked, but she, claiming to be he, did exactly that. And the school in Loudoun County is punishing the 2 boys that complained about it. So the problem here, I've got to say, is Democrats, Michael, isn't it?
People, Democrats, same. Yeah, I mean, I'm 70. I just turned 76. I've been watching this for all of my life, and I'm still befuddled. I don't understand the thinking of these people at all. They're like normal people with most of their brains knocked out.
Well, your problem is that you are a normal person, and you know what normal is, and that is the hiccup there. See, that's really the problem. Michael?
Yeah, great talking to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Common sense isn't. Remember that, thanks to the Democrat Party. Man, oh, Manischewitz. Hey, do you have, a lot of people do, have cooking or grilling anxiety? Anxiety that you're going to ruin everything. You know, the moment of truth when everybody sits down at the table and gets the knives and the forks ready, and you're thinking, did I just ruin $100 worth of beautiful steaks? Well, that's all changing with Chef IQ Sense. Chef IQ Sense. It's the wireless cooking thermometer that turns you into a master chef, and it works for everything that you're cooking, grilling, pan-searing, roasting, on the barbecue. Everything you're making makes it easy. You just insert the sensor, and you get several of them with the package into your steak, your chicken, your fish, whatever it is you're cooking and eating, your delicious food. You open the Chef IQ app, and you choose, how you want it cooked for yourself, for your best girl. Do you want it rare for you and medium for her? No problem. Well done for the kids. Any preference is accommodated. Multiple probes. Everybody gets exactly what they want from the food that's being cooked. Then you can sit back and relax. It sends you real-time updates, tells you when it's time to flip your food, take it off the heat, even how long to let it rest on the counter before you cut into it. Seriously, it's like having a culinary coach in your pocket, in your kitchen, in your backyard. No more guessing for you. No more flipping the lid and checking over and over again. No more dinner disasters. Chef IQ Sense it's precision cooking for everyone. And trust me, you're going to wonder how you ever cooked without it. Right now, you can save 15% because we know each other off the entire website using the code PLANT, P-L-A-N-T-E, at chefiq.com. That's chefiq.com. Use the promo code PLANT. Yes, sir. Yeah. See the muggings, the mugging, the lady, the nice TV lady, she got mugged by 3 men in Beverly Hills. Got that coming up. All right, let's go back to the telephones, and then I'm going to go to words that Democrats should never use again, according to their idiot think tanks. Where do you hear the words that Democrats shouldn't be using? Oh, look what I've done to the clock. I've ruined it, haven't I? I can't go to the telephones because I have only seconds available to me. But let me start with you on this because this is really something. The Democrats, with all their lunatic language that they use, and they've got think tanks. They call them think tanks. They're dumb tanks for the most part. Wrong about everything. Can Democrats talk their way out of the wilderness? And they have a list of words that Democrat politicians should stop using. That's coming up. Now, Democrats lie about everything all the time, and they lack self-awareness and have no sense of irony. Gavin Newsom, GCN, which can be treated with antibiotics, we have learned. Gavin Newsom lies about everything. He's the governor of California. He wants to be president of the United States and destroy the world. And he came out and lied. We got this Joe Biden and Latinx and all that stuff, but Gavin Newsom came out, and I've got a list of words that Democrats are being told by a left-wing think tank they should stop using because they sound like mental cases. But here's Gavin Newsom on, Joe Biden and Latinx and Latinx and the Democrats they want to make the Spanish language and the Italian language gender neutral, so you don't have, all Spanish language and Italian language, señorita and señora and then señor. You see, so these words are gendered, and if you just make everybody genderless, which is what the Democrats are trying to do by severing everyone's genitalia and putting them in blenders and making them into smoothies and then drinking them through elbow straws. But Gavin Newsom offered this lie.
By the way, not one person ever in my office has ever used the word Latinx.
So can we finally put that to bed?
Yeah,
we agree?
but where did that even
No more Latinx, everybody.
Well, I just didn't even know where it came from. I'm like, what are people talking about?
Now, he's talking to Charlie Kirk there, saying nobody in my office, nobody uses the word Latinx, and Joe Biden calls it Latinx, right? And like it's a bathroom tissue and an ethnic group but then, believe it or not, CNN actually put together in response to Gavin Newsom saying nobody ever used, Democrats never used Latinx, and CNN, of all people, put together this montage of Gavin Newsom himself using the ridiculous genderless term over and over again.
I hope we can really paint a picture in terms of our consciousness of how impactful this has been on the Latinx community. The Latinx and black communities. You've got politicians that are banning not assault rifles, but the word Latinx. They're not even serious.
Latinx, and he just said, nobody in my office, and he's angry and emphatic about it. Your furrowed brow and a curled lip. Nobody ever in my office ever. Well, here's you using it over and over and over again, you lying sack of Jewia. And then you remember Joe Biden saying that, Latin American people are Latinx, which is a cardboard box of disposable bathroom tissues and an ethnic group.
Latinx.
See, it's Latinx. It's got Latinx. He didn't even know he's so dumb, didn't know how to pronounce it. Now, that goes perfectly with the story in the left-wing Politico today with the headline, "The woke words Democrats should cut from their vocabulary." A new memo. Democrats love to send each other memos telling each other what to do. A new memo identifies 45 words and phrases for Democrats to avoid, alleging the terms turn voters off. They span 6 categories, from therapy speak to explaining away crime. The Democrats love crime, and they need therapy. So those are pretty good. And Adam Wren at Politico types on behalf of the Democrat Party. Democrats seem to think they can talk their way out of the political wilderness. Listen closely. You can hear it through the din of their all-caps Trumpian X feeds, their hours-long manosphere podcast interviews, and their more frequent swearing. It's true, they're out there using the F word and the S word in public on the stump in front of cameras and microphones. They think that they have the brains of 5-year-olds with old people bodies. Nearly 10 months after the 2024 elections, seems like more than 10 months already, doesn't it, since the elections, not even the inauguration. And the party is still embroiled in self-recriminations over where they're talking, what they're talking about, and now the actual words they're using, or more precisely, which words they shouldn't utter. In a new memo shared exclusively with Politico, the center-left think tank, Third Way, meaning Democrat Party think tank, is circulating a list of 45 words and phrases they want Democrats to avoid using, alleging the terms put a wall between us and everyday people of all races, religions, and ethnicities. Now, when the Third Way says between us, that means that they're representing the Democrat Party and the Democrat Party's interests. It's a set of words that Third Way suggests people simply do not say, yet they hear them from Democrats. They span 6 categories, from happy therapy, from therapy speak to explaining away crime, and put in sharp relief a party, the Democrat Party, that the authors say make Democrats sound like the extreme divisive elitists and obfuscatory enforcers of wokeness. That's because that's who they are. In the document titled, "Was It Something I Said?" Third Way argues to please, you see, please the few. We have alienated the many. And that's the radical leftist, transgender, mentally ill, bomb-throwing Democrats who are shooting people all over the place, especially on cultural issues where our language sounds superior, haughty, and arrogant, according to the memo. No kidding. Maybe you guys should have been listening to my show for the last 20 years, and you'd be way ahead of where you are right now. Among the blacklisted terms, see, now they're blacklisting. They're very fascist, these people, just as Ronald Reagan described them decades ago. Here are the words that they should avoid using now. Privilege. It's Stop using the word privilege because, it's racist and you're racist, and it's always the elitists who fly in private jets that are talking about other people's privilege. Violence, as in environmental violence. Stop using environmental violence. Stop using dialoguing as an active action verb, dialoguing. Triggering, because everything is triggering to these mental cases, and they're ill. Othering. Barack Obama loves that one. And he others people all the time as a verb. Othering. Stop using othering. Stop using microaggression. That has to do with their damaged genitalia and their brain damage. Holding space. Stop saying holding space. Body shaming. They love Lizzo, don't they? They love Lizzo. Body shaming. Subverting norms. These are Democrat terms that Democrats should stop using, according to a Democrat organization, because it makes them sound like idiots. And it does, and it always has. And if they had been listening to people that have common sense, like me, for years and years, they would have learned this long ago. Systems of oppression. The Democrat Party, the plantations of the Democrat Party, the bullwhips of the Democrat Party, the Jim Crow laws of the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is just amazing stuff. System of oppression. Cultural appropriation. Got to love cultural appropriation. They love the cultural appropriation, and it's there. But wait, there are more. The Overton window. Stop using Overton window. Very pretentious. Things that people will accept in a political context. The Overton window. Existential threat. They love existential threat. Everything. Donald Trump is an existential threat. The Republican Party is an existential threat. Republican voters are an existential threat. They're a threat to the climate. The climate is an existential threat. There's an existential threat to democracy, an existential threat to the economy. Radical transparency. That's not one you hear very much, but they recommend that you stop using that too. Stakeholders, a pretentious cross-dressing term used very often by the Democrats. The unhoused, that's homeless people, usually mentally ill or addicted to drugs. The unhoused, they're unhoused. Food insecurity. There's another story today about food insecurity in the Gaza. I like to call it the Gaza rather than just Gaza. I prefer the Gaza. Yeah, so they got food insecurity, the unhoused, food insecurity, housing insecurity, person who immigrated, that's an illegal alien. Stop using birthing person, that is a man, because they say that men can have babies and they're mentally impaired. Cisgender, they should stop using cisgender. It's a made-up word. It's not a real word. Dead naming. That is like Barack Obama, who used to be a woman, right? And then Big Mike. See, Big Mike, that's Michelle Obama. I got dead naming. Now, name a dead naming thing, because they got, when a man says he's a woman, all of a sudden, like that Bud Light guy, because he was a man, and then he said, I'm a woman. Yeah, Leah Thomas, the swimmer who stole all the women's trophies, the girls' trophies. And he was William, and that's how he got Liam, I think, or Leah, L-I-A, 3 consecutive letters in the name William. So he's William, and then he says, no, now I'm Leah. But if you call him William, which is his real name, then you're dead naming him. The name's not dead. Your brain is dead, all right? Heteronormative, that's a Democrat name. Democrat word. Heteronormative, they should stop using that. Patriarchy. I love the patriarchy. I'm thankful for the patriarchy every day. Like the Roman Empire, the patriarchy provides us with electricity, instantaneous global communications, air travel. You can fly at 35,000 feet at 600 miles an hour while watching a movie and talking to your mom on the phone, thanks to the patriarchy. You're welcome. We can cure cancer in so many cases, and never mind that. You should stop using patriarchy and heteronormative. You should stop using dead naming and cisgender. And listen to this. This is going to be trouble. I can see trouble coming on this one. They're recommending that Democrats in politics and beyond stop using LGBTQIA+. Stop using LGBTQIA+. That's lesbian, gay, Lesbians are gay, but they have two separate ones. Lesbians, gay, bisexual. If you're bisexual, you're gay. Okay? So that's 3. LGB, that's the same thing. T, that's transgender, causing a lot of problem there. Q, queer or questioning. Then I is, what is I now? Yeah, intersex. What does that mean? Doesn't mean anything. And then A is for asexual, which means you're not having sex at all, which you shouldn't be in this lineup here because it doesn't make any sense if you're asexual. And then plus is, whatever else. Donkeys and house cats and Labrador retrievers or whatever. That's the plus, I guess. Also, you should stop using BIPOC. But now these are all things that I've been making fun of for years. But you know what BIPOC is? BIPOC, Jasmine, do you know what BIPOC is? You do? Wow, you're pretty good. Black, Indian, person of color, which is redundant, repetitive, unnecessarily duplicative. If you're a person of color, that covers black, that covers indigenous or Indian. But then you got BIPOC so you got BIPOC. That's one of the most pretentious ones. But it goes well with LGBTQIA+. Allyship. Stop using allyship. And when you're talking about convicted criminals who are in prison, stop calling them incarcerated people. And stop referring to prison as involuntary confinement. See, because they want to differentiate between voluntary confinement, which means, what does that mean? It means, 10 years before the mast and under the lash. There's voluntary confinement. I think confinement automatically implies that it's involuntary, doesn't it? Not for Democrats, though, because they like to be tied up at home and, have the whip taken to them. Just like that Mapplethorpe photo. All right, let's go to the telephones, Michael. Let's go to Paul calling from Baltimore, Maryland. Paulo, you're on the Chris Plante Show. Is he going to use BIPOC? Paul, but I can still hear his phone is live. I can hear that. He's not there talking, though. Let's go to Lynn calling from Warrenton, Virginia. Lynn, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Good morning, Mr. Plante. How are you?
Hey, Lynn, I am wonderful. Thank you.
I want to enlighten you on a little bit of something. Everybody's talking about this illegal alien causing that wreck down in Florida.
Uh-huh.
He got his CDL even though he could not speak English, read English, or identify the signs.
Uh-huh.
That's nothing compared to a CDL test. How did he pass the walk around with a licensed DMV agent that requires you to point to the components of the vehicle you are driving, give them their proper name, explain what they do, and explain what happens when they malfunction? I guarantee you, Kansas Scott that called you on Wednesday that failed that test 4 times, that's exactly what he failed.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I think the answer to this, Lynn, is a one-word answer, and the answer is California.
It very well may be, because I've been a professional driver for 45 years. I've been in and out of California through their inspection states, and I praise God I never have to go back.
Well, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but just in case, Lynn, and I love the fact that you're a career trucker, and I'm very happy that you called in. Now, the Secretary of State of the United States of America, Marco Rubio, yesterday announced, effective immediately, we are pausing all issuance of worker visas for commercial truck drivers. The increasing number of foreign drivers operating large tractor-trailer trucks on U.S. roads is endangering American lives and undercutting the livelihoods of American truckers. So what do you make of that, Lynn?
It's not just California, Chris. It's down here in Virginia, too. You don't know how many times I've almost been run off the road by drivers that can't drive. You look over, they're texting on their cell phone while driving a 40,000-pound vehicle. They get out of their trucks. They look like slobs. Their pants are hanging down well below their underwear. They're stupid flip-flops, and they're a mess.
I love you. I think you're wonderful. You're no nonsense. You're paying attention to everything that's going on around you. You're fully where you should be appointed to a statewide commission or something, don't you think?
No, thank you.
I thought that might be your response. Yeah, but this guy, Harjinder Singh, is now charged with 3 counts of vehicular homicide in Florida, and those 3 Americans are dead because of Gavin Newsom and Democrat Party policies in California, and because of Joe Biden and the Democrats and their open border policies. This guy came into the country illegally from Mexico in 2018, and he was given a work permit under Joe Biden. In 2020, the Trump administration denied him work authorization, and then the Biden administration cleared the way in 2021 for him to get these working papers, and then California green-lighted everything so that he could go to Florida and kill these 3 Americans. What's up with that, Lynn?
I don't know, dear. I got my chauffeur's license when I was 17 years old. I walked into DMV. They gave it to me. I am a self-taught tractor-trailer driver. I didn't go through driving school. These guys go through these driving schools now. They pass everybody through there. They don't regulate it. They put them out here on the roads, and everybody complains about their cars. Yeah, the four-wheelers are bad. I've seen tractor-trailer drivers that are just as worse.
Yeah, that's great stuff, Lynn. And I got to tell you, there are a lot of things we need to fix in our country, and this is one of them. And an awful lot of them have to do with illegal aliens illegally in our country, and illegal immigration is illegal. But the Democrats reward it everywhere you look because they're not on our side. And I know you know that, Lynn.
Illegal immigration is illegal.
All these words and phrases that Democrats have to stop using, that's most of their lexicon. You're going to have to stop using the word lexicon, too. Yeah, and Tim points out dead naming Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner, that's dead naming. Or Bruce Gender. It could be Bruce Gender. Isn't that great? Yes, sir. Also, we've got news breaking all over the place today. Canada will remove its retaliatory tariffs on the United States, a long list of U.S. products that comply with existing North American trade deals, and they're seeking to lower tensions with the White House. I think that's a good idea. Also, video has emerged of John Bolton on CBS News way back when Mar-a-Lago was being raided, and John Bolton was excited to say, "Oh, it's important that everybody take a deep breath. This is a very serious matter." Remember, that was about classified documents, too. Now his home's being raided. I wonder if the FBI brought the classified covered sheets to lay out there and take pictures and give them to the press.